What is good, Tesla family? It's Ray J back with another video. And in this one, I want to break down what's happening with Tesla, SPY, and a couple of other tickers. I want to break down what's happening with the economic calendar moving forward, some news about the markets, and what's going on with the news about Tesla. We have new headlines coming out that are very, very important. I'm also going to talk about the price action of Tesla, what you should be watching for, as I give you guys a very, very important update on a big level on Tesla that needs to break for this thing to continue to run. But before I begin devil's information, before I get into any more details, let me just mention a couple of things. I am personally not a financial planner, so take nothing I say as financial advice. And also, if you guys can, please check out the Webull link, which is down below and in the description. If you sign up for Webull and deposit $500, you are guaranteed 20 free stocks. If you deposit $25,000 or more, you're guaranteed 75 of them. And the offer ends in just about 2.5 weeks from now. Anyways, when it comes to Tesla, we still have this range that's worth noting. We have this 180 resistance. If Tesla breaks through this, we're going to be looking for a much bigger push all the way up to 182 than 185. And if we end up rejecting off this 180 zone, we're going to be looking for a retest of 176. Losing that opens the doors for 173. And if we end up losing that, there's going to be a bigger dip coming. Now, overall, when it comes to Tesla, we are trying to push a little bit. You guys can see that since we hit this 174 area on Friday, Tesla's been kind of uptrending a bit. So there is a potential for it to try to retest 180. We'll have to see if Tesla could break and hold this or not. We have to try to close above 180. If we do so, this thing could start to bounce. So I'll be watching for that very carefully. The rest of the market's very bullish. We'll see if SPY and the QQQ have an effect on Tesla. So far, it's trying to push in the pre-market with the market, so we'll see how things go. I'll talk more about that in just a minute. Let me just remind everyone that today is Monday, June 3rd, 2024. At 9:45 a.m., that's 15 minutes after the market opens, we have the S&P Global Manufacturing PMI coming out. And then 30 minutes after market open at 10 o'clock a.m. Eastern Standard Time, we have the ISM Manufacturing PMI, the ISM Manufacturing New Orders and Prices. New orders and prices will be very important for inflationary data, giving us some very, very good-looking futuristic projections. That's going to be very important, so watch for volatility 30 minutes after the market opens. Watch for the first pieces of data to come out, and it's going to cause some volatility here and there. Now, some things about the markets. The market didn't have a bad May. Overall, the market did end up seeing a big push on Friday, which led to May being a decent month. So with that happening, we're going to be watching to see if we get a continuation. I think we will get a continuation, and there is more upside for the S&P 500 than the others. Nvda is also unveiling its next gen AI chips. That's once again going to be very useful for the development of them, not to mention Nvidia announcing their new AI chips as well. Great news for them, not to mention the stock split coming up very soon for them. Besides that, GameStop is also soaring right now as we're starting to see big positions being added. A lot of retail entering the game. This is causing a little squeeze, which is very, very fun. Can't wait to see how that develops. And then Ford is also looking pretty good with some shifts over here as they're going to spend over $1 billion restoring and reopening an abandoned century-old train station and other things to create new technology, which is very, very useful. So something that's worth noting, I'm seeing those headlines. This is what's happening for earnings. We have GitLab and a few others, very, very minor earnings, at least so far. As far as Tesla goes, Tesla's reverting its brakes, the park indicator lights in Canada following the whole situation that was going on. So it's not an official recall. I know that the media does love to keep going on about that. You guys know the latest thing that they had to do is they had to use a software update to fix a lot of issues with their brakes. That happened back in February. But the top Canadian regulators are asking Tesla to revert a brake and parking indicator lights in their vehicles after the company issued the software update again. So there's still some issues that regulators are still trying to have them do. And it's actually something very important. Like many other things that have been going on, Tesla already issued a lot of these over-the-air software updates. Transport Canada also says that no further action is needed for the Teslas with the software versions right over here, the ones that are listed right here. But there are some changes that they need. You guys can see them right over here with the brake lights. So we'll see how this ends up going for them. They're doing this, so the policies are actually very similar to those of the NHTSA, and we'll see how things go with this. This is actually something that's worth noting, and Tesla is in a situation where they have to try to maintain these regulations, try to follow them, adhere to them as fast as they possibly can. So that's something that's worth noting. And then something that's coming out for Tesla is the fact that I'm seeing all these headlines coming out comparing like Xpeng, NIO, BYD, and the others. We saw Chinese sales go up, but for Tesla's competitors, their arch rivals, if you want to call them, that sold 332,000 EVs back in May, a 5.9% 39%. So good for them. Does this hurt Tesla? Not necessarily. I wouldn't necessarily say that. I just want to say that competition in China is very fierce, but Tesla still has an edge over many of its competitors because of the fact that Tesla already has a lot established over there, and it's bigger than the majority of the Chinese EVs out there. BYD, some companies can sell just as much, if not more, sometimes, but that doesn't necessarily change the fact that Tesla has potential, and as the situations improve, Tesla will continue to grow. I'm still very confident in their future, at least moving forward in those different industries. So, what do I see for Tesla's stock moving forward? Let me just call out that despite this, head and shoulders like structure that's right over here, we want to be watching to see where our breaks are. So if we were to lose 173, I would turn bearish and be looking for the gap fill at 168. And to be bullish, I just want to see it try to break 180. We've been stuck between 180 and 173 for like 2.5 weeks, back and forth, back and forth. One little pop and then back down, back and forth, back and forth. So it's not really doing much right now. But as you guys could see, like I was saying earlier, we did touch 174 on Friday. We've been pushing since to 179. So a 5-point push on Tesla. If we break this 180 resistance, I think Tesla could try to hold up. We need to close above 180 today. If we achieve that, Tesla could start to uptrend, fill this gap up here at 185, and just continue to push higher to these much higher levels. We have a very, very nice looking inverse head and shoulder structure on the 4-hour time frame. And this has been developing for quite some time, right? This has been developing for quite a while. So we'll see if we finally get that push to the upside. I want to see it break 180 for confirmation, but I see potential in this nonetheless, and I'm hoping that Tesla gets that break eventually. But for now, we're just range bound, but I'm seeing potential for us to push higher, so I'll be looking for a test of 180 very soon. For SPY, we're looking very bullish. Like I said before, we have this gap to fill. I think we're easily pushing towards 530, and I think it's going to continue to pump as soon as we open. So it looks very bullish to me on the 4-hour time frame. For Nvda, exactly as we predicted, we get a nice bounce on Nvidia. Now there's a gap to fill over here, but we're not really going to do that yet. Gonna be looking for a push towards this 1,145 area, so I'm seeing some more potential. For Bitcoin, we're looking more bullish, trying to push all the way up towards this imbalance fill, towards the 70,000 area. I think we're going to likely do that. For the QQQ, we're looking more bullish, going to be looking for a test of 456 very soon. It's continuing to hold up very well. So I think it's going to slowly push this imbalance and eventually try to break out towards 460 later on. For Apple's also pushing. We're at 193. It might shuffle a bit, but I do see it eventually getting up to 193.5. So I see more upside coming to Apple. Looking at Neo is starting to push very, very nicely. Going to be looking for a continuation as we get closer to $6. Looking pretty good right now. For the IWM Russell 2000, we're pushing to 208. We could continue to climb towards 209. Looking bullish so far. Coinbase looking bullish. Now that we broke above our 20 EMA, we just have to hold above 228. If we hold this, we're going to be looking for push for 235 and 240 all over again. Pretty good. Amazon, same thing. We're trying to rebound. Not that strong in Amazon. Look at resistance at 178. Look at support at 175. We could retest 178, but so far it's just kind of shuffling in the pre-market. I could see a bounce, though. There's some potential for this. Meta's coming back down. Might dip a bit towards 466, and we'll see if we get a bounce back up towards 469. If we lose 466, we're going to be dipping all the way down towards 463, but I do see a little dip and bounce coming, so that's going to look very probable to me. GameStop is currently up about 70%, looking for a nice push. We'll see if GameStop maybe dips a bit, then it continues to pump. I think hype is going to be coming back, and we could slowly make our way up closer to 50 if we get a big bounce, so watch for that. AMC is also breaking out, looking pretty good right here. If we continue higher, then we could be going for that 6.25 area. Let's hope we get that bounce at least for now. With that being said, guys, thank you all so much for listening. Tesla's currently at 179. Let's see if we can try to break this resistance and start pushing for a breakout. We'll give this some time and see how it goes, but I do see potential in Tesla nonetheless. All right, guys, that's it for the video. Thank you all so much for listening. Hopefully this update was very, very useful, and I'll see you guys very soon in just a couple of hours. Thank you for listening, and peace out.